a war, you know. And we got in the trucks and we were all very hyped up and rifles all at the ready to go into battle. And we ended up getting up to Nui and there was no incidences or anything like that. And a month later, everybody was sort of very relaxed. The rifles were just lying around the bottom of the truck. And
your engagements with the enemy were often fairly infrequent, and then they'd be fairly fleeting as well. You just patrol him for day after day or ambush him for day after day. It gets pretty monotonous and pretty boring after a while. As a leader and as a platoon commander and the section commanders was just keeping the guys focused and making sure they didn't switch off at any particular point, because you never knew when it might happen.
And eventually it did. In May 1970, the mortar section were deployed to Long Son Island. They were there to protect an Australian engineering team installing a water pump as part of a civilian action project. The section would fire harassment and interdiction missions each night, directly across the village.
We were camped in the middle of the island, and while we were there, we had some ammunition problems, and in our firing at night time, the ammunition was breaking up, and when it does that, it just fails to follow the trajectory that it should be on, and it falls short. And one round had fallen close to the village and had either wounded or killed someone. A few days later, we actually, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we got ambushed from across the paddy field in the tree line.
we're having our cup of tea. I was sitting beside this coconut tree. Mike was beside me. I think Dave was next, and then Stu. And Dave says, "What's that?" And the dust was puffing up in front of us.
And the initial contact hit part of my section, and one of the people that was there, who wasn't in my section, Mike Morrison, who was the intelligence clerk, got wounded.
I think Dave might have gone down first, then Stu, and Mike was on top or something. And because Stu felt the blood and he thought he had been shot. And he's yelling at Dave to get off him because he's been shot. And in actual fact, it was Mike that had been shot.
I think that we were probably a bit lax and we had let our guard down. And I think that compounded with the fact that we had either wounded or killed this woman in the village, gave the local enemy a chance to put a bit of a stir up us. And so the attack was pretty vicious at the start. And it just came unexpectedly. And I think that we dodged a very big bullet.
And the coconut tree was bullet hole all up the tree, which was about a foot to the left of where I'd been sitting. And Mike, who got hit, was just sitting right beside me. So I felt very, very lucky that day.
I believed we were there to do a job. I think we did the job very, very well. Always very proud of the guys I served with. I think that we all tried extremely hard to do what we were asked to do and to do it to the best of our ability, and they were great guys.
The Whiskey 3 Company held its official reunion in November 2010. As well as the regimental colours being present, the Queen's colours were also paraded. For the Whiskey 3 Company veterans, this was very significant. A mark of respect, a restoration of mana, renewed pride and comradeship. Sadly, Doug Lewis of the Whiskey 3 Company succumbed to cancer and passed away in January this year.
And our condolences to his family. War is hell, said the US General Sherman as he surveyed the carnage of an American Civil War battlefield. But on the other hand, the excitement of battle can become an addiction. Lieutenant Horace Martineau fought in 3 wars, including World War I.